Okay, good morning. For class today, you're going to need just one blanket. And then let's begin. And we'll just begin standing up at the top of your mat with both arms reaching up. If it feels comfortable, you're even welcome to press your palms together. It's totally up to you. And just take a moment to settle in this almost an upward, uplifting activation of the body. And as you reach your hands up and press your palms gently together, reach them up so much your shoulders lift up by your ears, and press a little bit into the pinky finger sides of the hands so the shoulders protract a little bit. Cinch in the core for support and just breathe. As you breathe here, I invite you to explore this full torso breath where you invite your breath to move into the lower back, out into the sides of the rib cage, into the upper back, and then also up into the heart. The belly will naturally move and flow with that whole breath. So in a sense, it's also inviting the abdomen to soften with each inhale, to relax a little bit. The word saucha is the Sanskrit word or the niyama that we're exploring this week, one of the yoga internal ethics. And I like to describe it as a recentering, a refocusing, cleansing out all the distractions and interruptions that not only affect the like inner mental body, but also the energetic side of the body and the physical body too, much in the same way that you might just take a shower, but for all the internal pieces of things. Just a little reset. Breathe in, lift your hands up a little bit further. And exhale, slowly begin to forward fold, allowing your arms to rest and pause, your head and neck to relax down toward the ground. And then begin to gently press your feet apart on the mat so your hip points lift up toward the ceiling. Breathe in and breathe out. Plant your hands down to the mat and tiptoe your feet all the way back, downward facing dog. Maybe actually a slightly longer down dog than you normally would. Press your hands into the mat, finding that same rotation of the arms that we had as we were standing. Shoulders lift up by the ears. And even though you root down into the base of the index finger and the thumb, also find a little pressure on the pinky finger side of the hands. Can bend one knee and then the other. Just kind of wake things up a little bit. And then press a little more into your right foot and your right hand. And then shift over to press more firmly into the left foot and the left hand. And then bend both knees, lower them down to the mat. Breathe in, cow pose. Exhale, tuck your chin in first and then round your spine toward cat pose. Hips shift back towards your heels, like child's pose, but not pausing there. Look forward, bend your elbows, and then move right back into your cow pose. Exhale, chin tucks in, then core squeezes, upper back, then mid back, then lower back. I'll start to round and shift back toward child's pose. Breathe and look forward, soften the elbows a little bit, move forward into cow pose. And just a couple more times with your own breathing rhythm. Chin tucks in first as you round toward cats, and then back toward child's pose. And using your breath and your movement as a place to recenter, refocus. Another simple way to help practice that is to, in the morning when you wake up, resist looking at your phone for as long as you can, whatever time works good for you. Resist bringing in just a pile of things in through the eyes. That too also affects the energetic body. Last time, shift forward. Child's pose or cat cow pose and cat pose, and this time up and back, down dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Move with the pace of your breath. No rush to get from point A to point B. Stabilize your shoulders. Both hands press evenly down into the ground. Right hip lifts higher than the left. Bend your knee. Flex your foot. Squeeze your heel toward your butt. And then right foot steps forward to the outside of your right hand. Left knee lowers down to the ground. Option to bend your left knee as you reach your right hand back. I'll invite you to just kind of activate, gather the legs toward one another. Pelvis lifts away from the ground. Both shoulders wrap back in space. And then release your foot down to the ground. Right hand stays lifted. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee. Shift into side plank, right foot stacks on top of the left. Hips lift high. Notice that line of effort happening down the left side of the body. Right arm has the option to reach up over the ear. Hips press forward and reach up. Breathe in. Exhale. Right hand back down to the ground. Downward facing dog. Shift forward, plank pose. Bend the elbows. Keep your shoulder blades hugging your rib cage as you squeeze your butt and your core. Lower down. Inhale. Arms and legs lift up, locust pose. Chin tucks in. Notice the line of your spine. Inner thighs reach up toward the ceiling. Breathe in. Hands lift a little more. Core squeezes as you plant your hands back down underneath your shoulders. Toes tuck under. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift up your left leg. Left hip lifts higher than the right. Bend your knee, squeeze your heel in toward your butt. Keep that right hip crease still reaching up and back. Shoulders feel even effort here. Left foot steps to the outside of your left hand. You might have to grab it and help it get there. It's fine. Lower the back knee down. Bend your knee, squeeze your heel in toward your buns. Left arm reaches up and back. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. It's okay, that's not necessarily the point. Instead, notice where you're feeling the biggest stretch this morning as you lift up and out of the shape and engage to create the stretch by squeezing your heel in. Notice those different lines of effort within the muscles. We're stretching, and just explore this idea of using your breath to connect those points, to be aware of those different spots that are feeling the most work. And then release your foot back down. Left arm reaches up to the sky. Pick your back knee up. Shift and step slowly back side plank. Hips lift up high. Right side shortens as you lift that left hip up. And left arm up over the ear. Breathe into the left side of the body. And then exhale. Both hands down to the mat. Downward facing dog. Press forward, plank pose. Shoulders protract, butt squeezes, core squeezes. Heart reaches forward. Bend the elbows. Slow lower all the way down. Inhale, arms and legs lift up. Arms are welcome to reach forward if your shoulders feel comfy with that. Cinch in the core. Breathe here. Noticing how your breath might shift the shape a little bit. Chin tucks in. Inhale, everything lifts a little higher. Exhale, hands plant down and your toes tuck under at the same time. Press up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts up. Exhale, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Maybe heel toe it there a little bit. Pause here for a moment. Gather your legs toward one another so your right heel pulls back. Don't let the left hip dip down. Keep it high. You can bend the right knee a little deeper if you'd like. Plant the left heel down. Breathe in. Left arm lifts up. All the while, legs magnetizing toward one another. And it's as if your left hand is trying to pull you up off the ground. Breathe in. Exhale, left hand back down to the mat. Roll up onto the tiptoes of your back foot. Right arm sweeps up overhead. An option to even create, as you pull your right hip back in space, option to reach the right arm and your head back behind you a little bit. And then right arm reaches up to the sky as you lower your left knee down to the ground. Anjayasana, hand toward foot, but actively bring your heel toward your butt so the hamstrings are doing something here too. Breathe in. Exhale, release the foot. Release your hands down to the ground. Slide your right leg all the way back to the back side of your mat, back edge of your mat. Lower the left elbow down and turn your hand inward a little. And then it's side plank, knee up or down for support on the left elbow. Hips lift high. Left shoulder wraps back. Notice the effort happening from the left side of your body. Core should be cinching into. Right arm reaches up over the ear. Breathe in. Exhale, right hand towards your hip as you lower your hip down toward the ground. And then breathe in, lift right back up. Exhale, hip toward the ground. Breathe in, lift right back up. And then right elbow down to the ground. Forearm plank. Full inhale. Exhale, lower the hips down. Sphinx pose just for a moment. Tops of the feet, especially pinky toe sides, press down. Shoulders roll back. Heart pulls forward. Chin tucks in toward your throat. And then really tuck the chin in for a moment. So you're looking down. Shoulders pull back. Breathe into your upper back here. And then slide your hands back under your shoulders. Tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts up. Scorpion down dog. Left knee points up. Heel squeezes toward your butt. Breathe in. And exhale, left foot to the outside of the left hand. And then pause a moment here. Right heel plants down to the ground. Right arm lifts up toward the sky. Magnetize your legs toward one another. Keep that left hip pulling back in space. And then right hand down, a little further off to the right as you roll up onto the tiptoes of the back foot. Keep pressing that right heel straight back. Left arm reaches up and potentially a little bit back behind you as you pull that left hip back in space and don't rotate the right foot. Keep that right hip lifted. Full inhale. And then exhale, left arm up, right knee down to the ground. Reach your hand back towards your heel. You flex your foot and activate the hamstrings on the back of that right leg by squeezing your heel in close with the strength of the muscles. Breathe in and breathe out. Almost like without even trying to touch the foot, just feel the space in between the foot and the hand. The focus there. And then release your foot down to the ground and your hand. Lower down onto the right elbow. And get the left foot back, side plank. Left arm reaches up over the ear. Hip squeeze. My right hand is turned inward a little bit. Lift the hips high, cinch in the core as well. And then lower your right hip toward the ground. Just a little. Lift right back up high. And then right back down toward the ground. And then right back up. Big side stretch, left side. Breathe in. Exhale, forearm down to the ground, forearm plank. Heels press back, butt squeezes, core squeezes. And then lower your hips all the way down to the ground. Palms press down into the mat. If you feel any pressure in the lower back, even when everything's active, you can always scoot your elbows a little bit further forward and work on exploring the back bend into the upper back from here. Pinky toe sides of the feet press down so that the inner thighs wrap up toward the ceiling. Cinch in your core, which creates a little pressure of the pubic bone onto the mat. And then shoulders, if they're up by your ears, that's fine. Just roll them up toward your ears for a moment and then roll them down your back as you pull your heart forward. Sphinx pose. Chin tucks in toward your throat. And I invite you to just breathe here. To just notice the line happening along your back, along your spine, and breathe into that full length from the top of your spine, the cervical vertebrae, down toward your tailbone. Notice if the inhale feels like it moves one way or the other. And by exploring the breath and holding a shape, we're working with prana, or in Chinese medicine, it's called qi. So breathe in deeply. And breathe out really slow. Maybe tilt your head to one side and stretch into the neck. And then tilt your head to the other side. And then lower back down, hands come in by your ribs. Tuck your toes. Press up to a seated shape. Hands in the lap, palms facing up toward the ceiling. And I invite you to just breathe right here. Allow the tailbone to lengthen down. Chin draws in and the very roof of your mouth lifts upward. Shoulders soften back. It's as if you're just getting your spine, your shoulders, and your head to all stack right over the pelvis instead of leaning forward from the pelvis. So instead of your own energy being about looking forward to what's next in the day, it's just about being right here for just another few breaths. feeling into and witnessing the space around you and how you are a piece of it. And then breathe in, open the eyes, lift your arms all the way up. And as you exhale, bring your hands right to your heart. Thank you, friends, so much for practicing with me this morning. The light in me honors the same divine light in each of you. Namaste. Thanks, friends.